In the book of Matthew, some people are asking Jesus about money. This is Jesus' response. I tell you the truth, it is very hard for a rich person to enter the kingdom of heaven. I'll say it again. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. It's a strong statement. It's especially a strong statement when it's being said to the most wealthy country in the world. To a country whose sole teaching is consume. A lot of times we're taught that our whole goal is to make enough money so we can spend more money. Think about all the money that you spent this year, this month, this week, or even today. Most of the world lives on $2 a day. Relatively speaking, the poorest person in America, by the world standards, is rich. The American dream is to make as much money as possible, get the best education so you can make more money. It seems kind of opposite of what Jesus teaches. It's really interesting because he uses this visual of it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle. Well, what does that mean? When we read the Bible, we have to understand that there's a context. There's a cultural context. Usually when people would go into cities, they would be on camels. And there was two kinds of doors. There was the big door in the middle, and then there were two smaller doors on the sides. These were called needles, hence the name. And in order to get a camel through this, it was very, very difficult because these doors were not much bigger than a typical door that you would see maybe going into your bedroom. So after a long journey with all of the possessions that someone might have on their camel, with all of the things that they would bring with them, they would come to this small door with a big camel filled with possessions. The only way to actually enter this area would require you to take all of your luggage, all of your possessions off of the camel, and then even then a lot of times the camel wouldn't fit in, so that camel would have to get down on his knees and crawl through this doorway in order to get through this door. Obviously it was always considered a very difficult thing, and this is what Jesus was saying. That is easier to get that animal to do that than it is for a rich person to go into heaven. What does that say about us? What does that say about this society that is always concerned about buying more and helping less? It sounds hopeless. There's something amazing that Jesus says right after this. In the 25th verse of the 19th chapter of Matthew, it says this: the disciples were astounded. Then who in the world can be saved? They asked. Jesus looked at them intently and said, humanly speaking, it's impossible. But with God, everything is possible. Is it possible for us to get rid of our baggage and kneel at the feet of Jesus? Does the world have the answer? I don't think so. Christ has the answer. So let's take off our baggage and let's kneel. Because Christ is the one that can make the impossible possible.